Hi, welcome to June's poetry class. It's June and I need some poetry motivation. I just feel like this month was a good month. May was a good month, but I just feel like in a lot of preparation for June, I'm just feeling stressed. And so I just want some ease with poetry. So, if you don't know, this is my June poetry class, and it's based on my calendar stay at home calls for poetry, which stems from my poetry collection, Stay at Home Calls for Poetry. If you also don't know, I'm also an author of a novel, Home Sweet Home, but we will be focusing on my poetry collection today and my poetry calendar. And so my poems in my poetry calendar are snippets from poems in my poetry book. And without further ado, let's take a deep breath together, take a sip of water, and then we'll begin. So, one deep breath. And a sip of water. I have my Yeti cup next to me. And let's begin. So, this was May's. And drum roll, please. And just so you know, I'll be sharing 3 poems with you today. I'll be sharing one from my poetry calendar, one surprise from my novel, Home Sweet Home, and then one from I sign up for Poem a Day, and so they email poems, but I don't always read it. But I happened to this week, and so I wanted to read you a poem that stood out to me that I read this week. So those will be the 3 poems. So let's start with from the poetry calendar. I'm going to show you first, and then I'll read it. Movies and songs don't depict the pain of ended friendships enough, but they mattered. My past is how I'm here today. One more time. Movies and songs don't depict the pain of ended friendships enough, but they mattered. My past is how I'm here today. I like the last line, my past is how I'm here today. And I did edit this in for this poetry calendar because if I left it as is, I feel like it wouldn't have concluded well as just like a random poem you're seeing for the month of June. So that's why I did add this line. You won't find that last line in my poetry collection, but you'll find it in my poetry calendar if you'd like to purchase it on my website. But I like my past is how I'm here today because I feel like we all need that reminder of all that we've been through or how we've grown. And so I like that last line. I'm because it focuses on friendship, it'd be interesting if it more focused on relationships, because that could be with family, that could be with a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a partner, or that could be friendships. So movies and songs don't depict the pain of ended relationships enough. But I guess, is that true? Because there is talked about, but I guess maybe the realism aspect of it. But they mattered. My past is how I'm here today. So this is me just editing it because it's my own poem. But what I really want the poem to help me get through the month of June, I want it to focus on my past is how I'm here today. All the experiences, the friendships, the just any type of relationship, bonding, connection, learning experiences, growth, struggles, hardship, difficult moments, mistakes. All that is how I'm here today and how I show up and has made me who I am. And that is important to remember because on our birthdays, we can acknowledge like, oh, we're another year older, we've grown, but do we reflect a lot on how we've grown? And then pictures can show us like, oh, how we used to look and what we used to do maybe. But it's just to remember those in-between moments of our life and just all that we've experienced and how that shaped us. And so I feel like that's what I'm going to take away and try to keep with me for the month of June. My past is how I'm here today. But let me know how you feel about the poem, and if you want to take pieces of something else, because maybe friendship, you are experiencing changes in your friendship, and maybe that is resonating with you. So now I'm going to share the poem from my novel. And to just explain a little bit about my novel, it is about two teen boys trying to break multi-generational patterns and not become their dad, but figure out their own path in life, even though there's a lot of struggle and hardships along the way of their journey, because they're balancing relationships, balancing friendships, like this poem, but also just balancing understanding themselves and what they want for themselves and how to control certain emotions, specifically anger. And so my two characters are Harvey and Lasher, but this poem is based from Lasher's point of view. And my novel is a two-book, it's a dual point of view novel. And so they both are writers, but Lasher writes poetry. And for some reason, this poem was calling me to like read this poem, share this poem. And I was hesitant to, but I do think it's important. And so I'm grateful that I'm about to read it. It is untitled. But yeah, if you have purchased my novel or you want to now purchase it because of this poem, definitely let me know what you think of the poem now, and then let me know what you think of the poem even after reading it and how it connects with you differently or similarly to when you first heard it. Okay. Me, Lasher. I'm capable and I mean it. I'm lovable and I mean it. I matter, and I can't believe I mean it. I can't believe I almost chose to die over myself, over life, over a future I could have. I'm thankful, and I didn't know what or who to thank before, and now I have thank yous to give, and the first person that deserves to hear these words is me. Thank you, Lasher. For what? That's what I'd ask myself. And the answer is for feeling. I'm going to read it one more time. Me, Lasher. I'm capable and I mean it. I'm lovable and I mean it. I matter and I can't believe I mean it. I can't believe I almost chose to die over myself, over life, over a future I could have. I'm thankful. And I didn't know what or who to thank before. And now I have thank yous to give. And the first person that deserves to hear these words is me. Thank you, Lasher. For what? That's what I'd ask myself. And the answer is for feeling. This poem is heavy. Again, he is a teen and he wrote this poem. And I know I created this character, but this character still pulled these words out of me. So I didn't expect to write it, but this is what the character was feeling, and this is what the poem he needed to write. And so it's powerful for many reasons, and I don't want to like spoil anything, so I'm not going to share the background of his story. But from what we are given from the poem, I'm capable and I mean it. I'm lovable and I mean it. I matter. There are a lot of people that may be going through depression, sadness, struggles in their life, and it's hard to remember you matter when things are difficult. It's hard to feel like you are a part of society when there's so many things that make you feel distant because of struggle, because of language, because of identity, because of so many factors that could be hurting you or could be stressing you out or could be making you feel sad. And so I like that Lasher writes or realizes even that he matters and he can't believe he means it. That's the powerful part. Like, he means it. It's like to to believe it for yourself instead of just letting it be words to be said, but to actually feel it. And that he's still here, that he chose to live even though he almost chose not to. And it's grateful that he was willing to share this after scary thoughts or experiences. He's still here and he's willing to share this. And now I have thank yous to give. And the first person that deserves to hear these words is me. That's so great because I feel like it's so easy to thank others for all they've helped you with, but to thank yourself, thank your body, thank yourself just for continuing another day, doing the first step, forgiving yourself for a mistake, resting, trying again, trying a new thing. I like that, to just say thank you, because I feel like we talk about forgiveness, like forgive yourself, forgive others, but what about thanking yourself, saying like thank you body, thank you Desiree, saying thank you to myself. And so I like that. And then I like how there's like a hint of the past. For what? That's what I'd ask myself. It's like, why am I thanking myself? And what's the answer? For feeling, for just being able to feel these emotions and the duality of it, because there's the sadness, but there's also new growth, I guess you would say, or change, and they're coexisting. And he's thanking himself for just feeling, for just allowing himself to feel and not be overwhelmed by it, while we can be. Sometimes we definitely can be overwhelmed by the sadness or even the happiness or the confusion or the stress or the anger. But instead of staying in one emotion for too long, it's being aware that we're feeling but not letting it take over anymore. And so I find this poem powerful, but I'm biased. But I like it and it's precious. And so I wanted to share it because last year, I guess, was calling me to share it. And so if you needed to hear this today, or if you know someone that needs to hear this, to remember to keep going, or to remember that they are not alone, or just to remember to continue the steps forward, or to just take time for themselves, definitely share this poem. Yeah. And so now I want to share the third poem. And please let me know any takeaways or thoughts you have from the poem, and maybe details I forgot that were also standout quotes or standout lines. So this third poem is titled Addiction by Major Jackson. Oh, and fun fact about this poem. So when I first read it, I thought I read the title, but I guess it went over my head, or I didn't pay a lot of attention, because I read it with a different mindset. And then when I read the about and reflection on it, then I found out about the addiction part, but yet it's in the title, addiction. So I'm gonna read it to you, and then I'm gonna share how I first read it, and then I'll reread it, and we'll just have a discussion. Okay. Addiction by Major Jackson. A family spots their brother sleepwalking in a narrow hallway. He is cooking in his dreams, pretending chef, moving around a kitchen, screaming humbug at dried bits of onion powder in a spice container, and so takes off to the grocery store, his hands miming a driver's who is having a heartfelt conversation with a passenger, which could be any one of them. They are careful not to wake him for fear of triggering a heart attack or a fall down the stairs. He bares his teeth, which means he is now a canine, most likely a pit bull. His eyes go dark as a chimney, so he hums a little, Scottish ballad about time. They hope he finds his way back. They tire of circling him and think, by all means, continue your travels in your cardboard world. His wife feels ever his value and grabs their hands and shifts when he shifts and falls when he falls. So I read this fully as a sleepwalking poem. So I did not know the addiction part when I first read this. I more was just aware of the sleepwalking and like, oh, the sleepwalker, he thinks he's a chef. Oh, now he thinks he's a driver and then a pit bull. But it did get a little like, oh, or maybe this is a little bit about something else when we got to they tire of circling him and think, by all means, continue your travels in your cardboard world. And then again, when it says his wife feels ever his value and grabs their hands. It was something about the change in tone and how things were being explained that I was like, maybe this isn't just about sleepwalking, but I'm not sure what it's about. And so now I'm gonna read it again and then we'll have a discussion. Addiction by Major Jackson. A family spots their brother sleepwalking in a narrow hallway. He is cooking in his dreams, pretending chef, moving around the kitchen, screaming humbug at dried bits of onion powder in a spice container, and so takes off to the grocery store, his hands miming a driver's who is having a heartfelt conversation with a passenger, which could be any one of them. They are careful not to wake him for fear of triggering a heart attack or a fall down the stairs. He bares his teeth, which means he is now a canine, most likely a pit bull. His eyes go dark as a chimney, so he hums a little Scottish ballad about time. They hope he finds his way back. They tire of circling him and think, by all means, continue your travels in your cardboard world. His wife feels ever his value and grabs their hands and shifts when he shifts and falls when he falls. So what first stands out is just the imagery of him pretending or feeling like he's a chef. And he goes from the kitchen to now wanting to go to the grocery store, so he goes to the car. And then he's pretending to have a heartfelt conversation with a passenger, which could be any one of them. The description, it gives a visual, even if it's not like a strong, clear visual, it's still a visual, and I like how it's written. I like these different stanzas that show these different experiences that he, when he's sleepwalking, is experiencing. And we're following along, like the family is following along. Another part that did make it feel like, oh, this is a little bit of something more, is the talk of they are careful not to wake him for fear of triggering a heart attack or a fall down the stairs. I thought that was normal for sleepwalkers. Like, you want to make sure they don't go anywhere dangerous, but you also don't maybe want to wake them for fear of what that could do. I'm not sure. I've never lived with someone who sleepwalks, but that's just what I thought when I first read it. But it also does sound like a serious situation because it could trigger a heart attack. And then they hope he finds his way back. I can see that line tying to addiction. They hope he finds his way back out of this. Not just this sleepwalking, but out of this, I guess you could say, trance of what the addiction does for him, or that he thinks it does for him. But like they say, it's a cardboard world. And when I'm trying to think of what the cardboard world means, I think how cardboard is not sturdy. It's not, it kind of protects, but it's not really safe, or what's it called? Like structure proof? I don't know the right word, but something proof. Like, it can collapse. It can, like, again, it's not sturdy. And so, but then I think cardboard, thinking about like kids, and when they play and have imagination, and so they like to pretend, oh, it's a spaceship, it's a car, and so maybe it also ties to that. By all means, continue your travels in your cardboard world. And so I think it's also about like the imagination of what he thinks it does for him, but it doesn't actually, it's not actually what he thinks it is. And then the wife part, I can't figure out that line. His wife feels ever his value. Feels ever his value. I am curious about that line, and I want to ask more for someone to help me understand it clearer. His wife feels ever his value. So maybe out of the whole family, the siblings or the parents or the cousins, it hits heavier for them, but they are tired. Because it says they tire of circling him and think. So maybe they, as much as they love him, they also need to take a step back because it's draining them. And so, but his wife still sees his value and still believes he can come out of it. So she holds on. So his wife feels ever his value and grabs their hands. So instead of, and she grabs his hands, it says, and grabs their hands. And that confuses me a little, but I guess it's like taking their hands together, and shifts when he shifts and falls when he falls. So either she's carrying the weight too, and so she feels everything just as much as he does, even if he doesn't realize it. Or I don't know if falls means death or if falls just means falls. Still falling towards this addiction, or still falling just deeper and deeper, like away, like losing himself and losing, I guess, consciousness of reality. I have never been with anyone, or my surroundings have never been around someone that has an addiction. And so please let me know if some things I'm just definitely missing or I'm not speaking well to. And that is the reason, because I don't know the full struggle or the full impact of addiction. I've read about it, I've seen movies about it, I have heard of it, but I don't know enough to fully speak on this poem. But I wanted to share it because it still connects, and it's still powerful and interesting, and so I wanted to share it. And I feel like I have done 2 heavy poems, but I think they're important, and they allow you to feel less alone, and they also give you someone's perspective of their heaviness or a load they are carrying. And I think that's important. My first poem, I don't think it's as heavy, but I think it can kind of make you think still. But yeah, please let me know your thoughts on any of these poems. If you would like to share a poem down below, definitely share that. I'm wishing you well this June. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, just write your story, and take care.